Do you wait for everything to be perfect and lined up straight before you make a choice? How hard are you trying to get everything in your life right? What if jumping in and getting messy is one of the ways to find out what works for you? Discover how being willing to mess up can create the phenomenal life you truly desire. Get ready to quit judging and start embracing all of your messy adventures. Now, here's your host, self-declared messy living expert, Petrina Fava.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, or good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are. I listen to that intro and I laugh every time I hear messy living expert. And I'm going to tell you why that fits in totally with our show this morning. So welcome to Messy Adventures in Living. I am Petrina Fava, your host. If this is the first time you are joining us, let me tell you a little bit about me. I am a person who dabbles in a whole bunch of things. I have a list long of things that I like to play with in my life. So I am a mom of three brilliant children, I might say, brilliant creators, master manipulators, wonderful catalysts for me creating greater. And I also work as a registered nurse, pediatric nurse actually, in Toronto at one of our top children's hospitals here. And I love to contribute to families and kids there, and I get to practice some tools that I learned, really cool modality called Access Consciousness there. I also teach infant massage classes. I have my own bath and body business where I get to cook up some really cool body products in my very own home. And I am also an Access Consciousness bars and body process facilitator. And if you don't know what that is, you are missing out, let me tell you. So you can check out accessconsciousness.com. It's a set of very cool, very weird, very wacky tools that you can use to change your life. And let me tell you, this stuff works, and it works quick, and it works easy, and it's fun, and we laugh a lot. So probably something you're not interested in. AccessConsciousness.com. Please check it out. We will be using some of the tools and talking about some of the tools during the show. What else? What else do I dabble in? I dabble in lots of different things, and it's become really fun for me to in the last few years, and I'm actually really grateful to the tools of Access for showing me that it can be fun to do that and that it's not wrong to do that, because I made myself wrong for it for a really long time. So that is leading us into today's show. So thank you again for joining me in this really great discussion that I think we're going to have today. And the show is called Fixing, You're Fired. Creating Greater, You're Hired. So what if nothing is wrong with you? Nothing. Not even that. How long have you been trying to fix you? Or fix someone else? Or fix the world? Is it working? Do you know that something else is possible with that thing that you'd like to change? You know you don't have to make it wrong to change it. In fact, you can't change anything that you're judging. What if you could create something greater rather than fixing what you've decided is wrong? Thanks for joining us today. Let's find out how you can shift from fixing your problems to creating greater in your life. It just might be easier than you think. So tell me, what is going on in your life that you want to fix, that you're trying to fix? So for me, since I was very young, have made myself very wrong for being messy and for being all over the place and for wanting to touch every idea and everything that comes into my awareness. I literally think about it and I feel like I have this array of magic around me and I want to touch all of it. I get so many ideas. I'm flooded with so many ideas that I get really excited about creating all of them. And what that has shown up as, maybe to the world, to the people around me and to the world, is this disastrous, disorganized thinking kind of person. Maybe not thinking, actually, because I think I pile on being very logical while also being really creative and being the kind of person that dabbles in a lot of things. And if you think about how this reality looks at that, there can be a really negative spin on it. Jack of all trades, master of none. You never focus on anything. You never finish anything. You got too many things going on. And about 6 years ago, I discovered the tools of Access Consciousness. And one of the very first tools that I heard was, what if nothing about you is wrong? Nothing. Like nothing. Even that hideous thing that you're keeping deep down inside you that no one else dares know, that you wouldn't dare to tell anyone, that thing that's your deepest, darkest secret that you think is so wrong about you, what if it's not? And that might sound a little bit airy-fairy, like, oh, come on, nothing's wrong with you. Like, what if you're awesome? It's not that. It's not that. It's a look at it. What if it's not a wrongness? What if, let's go all the way now, what if that thing that you think is so wrong about you is actually your greatest gift, is your greatest strongness? So I was in a class with Gary Douglas, who is the founder of these awesome tools, and I heard him say it, and it was not the first class I'd done with him, and I'd been already using the tools of Access for a few years, and I heard him say it again for the millionth time. What if your wrongness is actually your strongness? And right away I thought of my messiness. I don't like to clean my house. If you've listened to any of my shows, I'm sure I've mentioned it before. I don't like to clean my house. And although I like tidiness and I like clear, clean spaces, I seem to have this stop when it comes to organizing piles of stuff. And so I was so frustrated when I heard it, and my hand flung up and I said, okay, Gary, I've heard you say this so many times now, and I just don't get it. Can you please explain to me how it is possible that my disastrousness is a strongness? So basically what he, in a nutshell, what he explained to me is, if you're judging it, you can't change it. And how much are you actually accomplishing? How much are you actually creating that way? Look at what you're creating. Do you get everything done? Procrastinate to the last minute. Do you still get everything done? Are you still creating a fuckload of shit, of creations, not shit, in your life, even though you're doing it in a way that you think is wrong? What if it's not wrong? What if that's a capacity? How can you use it as a capacity rather than judging it? And that's what I was doing. So instead of looking at it as this magical capacity that I have, that I can hear and perceive ideas in the future and perceive what wants to get created and for it and create it, I was judging it as wrong, and I was trying to make it smaller rather than expanding it and creating it as greater. So what do you have going on in your life that you are convinced is a wrongness about you that could actually be your greatest capacity if you would just stop judging it and just stop trying to fix it? And what if you embraced it? And what if you used it to your advantage? How can you create something with that thing that you've decided is a wrongness? Wow. So, let's, here we go. The squirrel. Okay, I got that out of my head. So I'm going to introduce you to a tool, actually, one of the tools of Access. And it goes like this. The truth will make you feel light, and a lie will make you feel heavy. So basically, whatever is true for you is light. And whatever is a lie for you, so there is no one truth, right? Like sometimes we learn about truth and it's like the truth, the global truth of the entire universe. What if there's what's true for you? And what's true for you is different than what's true for me. So whatever is true for you is light. And whatever is a lie is heavy. Whatever that means to you. You might feel it in your body. You might feel it as laughter. You might feel it as joy. You might feel it as giggling. Whatever is true for you is light. So I invite you to use this tool right now throughout the next hour that we're playing together. And please don't take anything that I say as the truth. Everything is just my interesting point of view. What do you know about what's true for you? So I invite you to play with this tool because this tool can be a key tool in creating yourself greater or creating your life as greater rather than fixing something that's a problem. So I was talking a little bit about judgment with someone the other day, and they said, actually, judgment is what made me get better at my sport. And I looked at that and I went, oh, that's really cool. I wonder if sometimes people can see fixing or judging something in an effort to fix it as a way to get better or to change something or to improve. So, I think I've been using these tools for a long time, and I've been looking at coming away from judgment and looking at creating my life greater, that I'm starting to forget that out there in this reality, judgment is valuable, and an attempt to fix something is considered valuable, and it's not considered wrong, and it's actually considered motivation. So you might be thinking, actually, I have tried to fix something that's wrong with me, and I've done it. I have fixed it. So I invite you to take a look at that. Have you truly fixed it? Or have you bent and folded and stapled and mutilated yourself into some ideal that you've created for yourself or that this reality has created for yourself? So for most of my life, instead of creating myself as greater, I have looked at my messiness and my disorganization, and I'm doing air quotes here. I know you can't see me, but I've looked at that, and I've been trying to fix it for a long fucking time. I am 42 years old. I have been trying to fix this probably since I was about 6 or 7 years old. And I did that, and in some ways, I did get better. In some areas of I did get better. There are parts of my home that I have organized, for example. But I look at what I was doing for a long time, and in an effort to fix it, I was bending and stapling and mutilating and coiling me into this definition, into a box of what this reality was telling me was the right way to be. I was not creating myself as greater. I was not expanding my life. I don't like to stay home and clean my house. And I learned as a child, because that's what I was taught was valuable, and it's not wrong. I was taught that what was valuable was, you're a mom, you're a wife. You stay home, you clean your house, you keep your house clean, you do the laundry. You don't hire somebody to do it, because why would you do that? What would people think? And I didn't like it. I did not like it. My body didn't like it. My body felt heavy and contracted, and I just wanted to get out. I didn't want to be in this house. So was I creating greater? Was I expanding my life? Or was I bending and folding and stapling and mutilating myself into this box that somebody else or that this reality was telling me I should be? That's what I was doing, and it felt gross. So what about you? Where are you bending and folding and stapling and mutilating yourself into something that somebody else is telling you is the right way to be? even if you think it's kind of right, if you're like, yeah, well, it would be awesome to be a great gymnast. Let me bend and fold and mutilate myself and my body into being a great gymnast. So let's take a break on that note. You are listening to Messy Adventures in Living, and we are talking about fixing. You're fired. Creating greater. You're hired. Hang in there. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in a couple minutes.
Do you wait until all the traffic lights are green before you get in your car? Of course you don't. Are you waiting until you have everything perfect to begin living? Most of us have learned not to take any steps until we have all the information to make the right choice. What if the opposite is true? What if it's choice that creates awareness? Are you willing to make lots of messy choices so you can begin to see the possibilities that you didn't even think existed? Listen for Messy Adventures in Living radio show with self-declared messy living expert Petrina Fava every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific on a2zen.fm. How much more expansive would your life be if you were willing to get messy with your choices?
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living with Petrina Fava. To participate in today's show, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 033-0001-0625. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also ask questions or comment by email by sending to Petrina at petrinafava.com. Now, here's Petrina with more Messy Adventures.
Hello, welcome back to Messy Adventures in Living. I am your host, Petrina Fava. Thank you for joining us today. Before we continue our awesome discussion about bending and folding and mutilating yourself, which is what we were discussing before we went to break if you missed it, I wanted to talk a little bit about some exciting stuff I have coming up. So I am also an author, something that I've recently embraced. I have recently published 2 really cool books. One of them is called Creations, Conscious Fertility, Conception, Pregnancy, and Birth. I'm so excited about that. It's my very first book ever. That is a wonderful book about, it's a collection of stories from several different authors about birth, pregnancy, fertility, the choice not to have children, adoption, abortion, miscarriage, some really interesting perspectives on these topics. And the second book that I recently published is called Possibilities in Parenting. Again, it's a collaboration from some really amazing contributors, and it looks at parenting very much from an outside-the-box perspective, most of it from an access consciousness, using the tools of access consciousness to create something greater in parenting. It's a fantastic book if you're a parent or a teacher or with children in any way. And actually, even if you don't, even if you were ever a child or if you have ever had parents, the tools in this book are just phenomenal, and they are different, and they will work. They will turn your world upside down. In it, I talk about, my chapter is called Toolbox for Bullied Kids. And I talk about a very different perspective on bullying. My chapter has been called Controversial. So check it out if you are interested. Possibilities in Parenting on Amazon, and Creations, Conscious Conception, Fertility, Pregnancy, and Birth. And so I wanted to talk about something that I have coming up. I will be a guest speaker on a series called Conscious Birthing and Beyond, Illusion to Reality Global Series. There is a free intro call coming up tomorrow with, I believe the free intro call is not tomorrow. It is February the 8th, talking about birthing, babies, marriage, love, relationships, all kinds of things. And even if topics are on your radar, trust me, these calls will contribute to your life, because the tools that are used can be used in any area of your life at all. I am also tomorrow, that's what's happening tomorrow, which is Tuesday, February the 2nd, I will be on the What If show being interviewed. So if you want to check those out, we're going to post the links, and I will post them also on my Messy Adventures in Living Facebook page. If you haven't joined me there, please check it out. I've got replays to this show listed on there. That's a couple of things that I have coming up soon. Yeah. Okay, so before we went to break, we were talking about, the show today is called Fixing, You're Fired, Creating Greater, You're Hired. So what if you could stop fixing all of the things, or stop trying to fix all of the things that you consider to be wrong about you, or wrong about somebody else actually, or wrong about the world? What if you didn't have to fix anything? And that doesn't mean that you just let everything be the way it is, because if there's stuff in your life that you'd like to change, then you can change it. But changing something is different than fixing it. Fixing, what's the underlying assumption when you're fixing something? That it's broken, right? If you're fixing something, the underlying assumption is automatically that it's broken. So everywhere, wrong, broken or wrong, exactly. Thank you, Rhonda. So everywhere you have decided that you're broken and that you need to be fixed, will you please destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So that thing I just said is the Access Consciousness Statement. It is a bunch of words that represent a very long list of energies that are explained at a website called theclearingstatement.com that you can check out if you'd like some more information. But basically what it does is, when you're talking about something and some energy comes up and it's kind of got a charge on it, and maybe it takes you back to something and makes you really angry or makes you feel funky or whatever, but when you say the clearing statement, it's kind of like just deleting everywhere that was originally created, that you originally created it. Everything you decided was right or wrong about that. So I'll say it again. Everywhere you have decided that you are broken and need to be fixed, can you please destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. So what if you're not broken? And what if there's nothing to fix? What if you're not as fucked up as you think you are? What if all of those things that you are convinced and sure, and maybe that everyone else has convinced you and assured you, are your absolute worst possible traits, are your wrongnesses, are actually your greatest capacity? So remember that tool that I talked about in the beginning? Light and heavy. So when I say this, and I'll say it again, what happens in your body? What if everything you've decided is wrong about you? What if everything you've decided is your absolute most terrible, hideous wrongness is actually your greatest capacity? Does your body get lighter as that sentence goes on? When I talk about that thing, is it actually your greatest capacity? Is that lighter for you? Yeah. So now what do we do with that? What do we do with this? How do we change it? So one of the very first things that you really got to do when you look at this is just stop the judgment. Judgment sucks, guys. And you know what? Judgment in Access we say consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. And so we're not judging judgment. But judgment is not light, and it's not happy, and it's not fun, and it does not create greater. It doesn't. You may have used judgment to fix something, and it may appear to have worked. It may have gotten you to change something. But is it light? And what has actually occurred in your body when you're judging yourself, when you've judged yourself out of your wrongness? And have you judged yourself out of wrongness and into mediocre? Or, have you judged yourself into greater? Which one is it? Can you judge yourself into growth? Or can you only judge yourself into mediocre, okay, good enough? Judgment can suck it, Rhonda says. That's a catchy title. Yes, it is. Judgment can suck it. I actually recently just submitted a chapter for another book that I'm creating, which is so exciting. And it's for a book called Releasing Judgment. And in it, by the end of it, writing is such an amazing thing. It's like, I feel like I'm facilitating myself when I'm writing. By the end of writing this chapter, I realized how much I was judging what I was writing. And then I really got, and I knew this in my brain, but I really got that, we can't judge judgment and then change judgment. You really can't change something that you're judging, and that includes judgment. So let's not judge judgment. Let's look at how we've used judgment as a tool until now, because that's what we've had at our disposal, right? And great. Thank you, judgment. Thanks. I've used you until now. You've kind of served me until now. I mean, hey, I got from A to B to C. And you know what? I'm done with you, judgment. I'm done now. I know something else is possible, and I'm going to use some other tools. So let's just, everywhere we're judging judgment, and everywhere that we are now judging ourselves for having judged ourselves our whole life, can we please drop that shit and destroy it and create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, potluck, all nine shorts, boys, meows. We do because we think that that's how it's the best way. And then when you know better, you do better, right? Isn't that something that Oprah said? So now if you know that there's something else possible, something like creating greater, can you be grateful for the judgment that you've used all your life? And just say thank you to it, and then just let it go. And now move on to something else. Yeah. Because you're not going to change judgment if we're judging judgment. So creating greater. Step 1, stop judging. And that includes judging judgment. Step 2, ask some questions. So this is another amazing, it is basically the foundation of this modality called Access Consciousness, is moving out of conclusion and using questions to create your life, to create possibilities, to create choice. Coming out of conclusion and going into question opens the doors to possibility. Check in with your body as I'm talking about that. Is that light or heavy? So if you could catch every thought that's in your head that's a conclusion, and trust me, it's probably every single one of them, because we've learned to do that. We've learned to look at this world, and we've learned to look at everything and see how it needs to be fixed, and go into fixing rather than creating greater. So if you were to ask some questions, would you be able to open the doors of possibility? Doesn't when you just ask questions, do you get the energy of the possibilities that are opening when you just ask a question? So stop judging. And there is no how. Just stop it. Oh my God, go to YouTube and check out Bob Newhart's Just Stop It. I don't know if we can get that link on here, but that episode is just freaking hilarious if you have not seen it. Oh my God, it is totally a classic. Just stop it. There is no how to stopping judgment. When judgment comes up, I actually, like, you can imagine a stop sign, or like I just exit out. It's like in my mind, I just draw a big X on it. It's like, no, just not. No. There is no real how to stopping judgment. You really just need to stop and be like, I'm sorry, you're fired. You're fired, judgment. Sorry, I'm hiring Creating Greater instead. So let's take a break, and when we come back, we will talk about cool questions that you can ask that will take you into creating greater rather than fixing the stuff that you think is wrong with you, which actually isn't. You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living. Please come back in a few minutes.
Do you wait until all the traffic lights are green before you get in your car? Of course you don't. Are you waiting until you have everything perfect to begin living? Most of us have learned not to take any steps until we have all the information to make the right choice. What if the opposite is true? What if it's choice that creates awareness? Are you willing to make lots of messy choices so you can begin to see the possibilities that you didn't even think existed? Listen for Messy Adventures in Living radio show with self-declared messy living expert Petrina Fava every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific on a2zen.fm. How much more expansive would your life be if you were willing to get messy with your choices?
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour, and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living with Petrina Fava. To participate in today's show, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 033-0001-0625. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also ask questions or comment by email by sending to Petrina at petrinafava.com. Now, here's Petrina with more Messy Adventures.
Hello, thank you for returning to Messy Adventures in Living. How many messy adventures can you have today? I just wanted to sneak in a little bit of promotion for my upcoming shows. It's a miracle. I have like 2 shows already planned for the next 2 weeks. I usually slide in at the last minute, much to I'm sure the awesome producers on this show just love it. Anyways, I just wanted to tell you about them before in case I run out of time at the end, because I'm obviously in a very chatty mood today. So next week I have a guest on, Daria Hansen. We are going to be talking about unlocking your femme fatale. I am so excited. I don't even know. She has like some telecalls and some classes going on about femme fatale, and I haven't even really looked at them in detail. There's just something about the end of those words to me that were just like, oh my God, I am so going there. I have become so tired of, like, literally, of being pathetic and playing pathetic. And this energy of femme fatale is just so exciting to me. So if you also are excited about this energy, unlocking your femme fatale, the energy of a woman who knows what she wants and just goes for it and nothing stands in her way, please tune in next week. Daria Hansen exploring this really potent topic. And the following week, I am having the awesome Anthony Mattis on. We are talking about Dr. Anthony Mattis, who's a chiropractor and also a certified facilitator in Access. We're going to be looking at depression and the cloud of judgment that surrounds depression and a different possibility with depression and a different outlook and a different point of view, a very different point of view, actually. Everything that we discuss using the tools of Access is a very different point of view. So I'm really excited to have Anthony Mattis on, looking at depression and how we can change it and how we can come out of judgment. And, another thing that we try to fix, right? How many of us are trying to fix depression? And how many of us are trying to fix depression and others, depression in the world? What if you're not wrong? What if you're depressed? And what if you're depressed to the point of suicide even? And what if you're not wrong? What does that even mean, what if you're not wrong? Well, you got to tune in. So 2 weeks from now, Dr. Anthony Mattis, and next week, Femme Fatale with Daria Hansen. Tune in. Okay, back to our topic of creating greater instead of fixing. So we've been talking a lot about how we have the underlying assumption when you're trying to fix something that's wrong with you is that you're broken. And what if you're not broken? What if nothing about you is broken? What if that thing that you think is broken about you is actually your greatest talent and capacity? I was talking to someone just yesterday, and she said to me, Petrina, I feel like I don't fit in anywhere. No matter how many different kinds of people I meet or different kinds of things that I try, I feel like I don't fit anywhere. And she was really going into the wrongness of this and making herself very wrong for not fitting in. And I have had that my whole life too. I didn't fit in at school. I was the nerd. I was the outcast. I mean, I'll be honest with you, another conversation I was having with my brother actually the other day was, I wonder how much of that was even all in my head. Like, how much of that was I creating? What was I actually aware of? I interpreted as nobody likes me. So this is that thing of, what if that thing that's wrong with you is actually your greatest capacity? So I was convinced that no one liked me when I was a kid. I was convinced I was ugly. I was convinced I had nothing to talk about with people. And this is what I was talking about with my friend yesterday. She was talking about, like, I just can't join conversations. Like, I'm not interesting, is what she said. What if you're not wrong? So how many of you have that going on, that you feel like you just don't fit in, and that people are talking and they're having these heated conversations and you're just sitting there like, I don't get it. Like, I have nothing to say about this, and made yourself wrong. So have you defined yourself as like socially awkward, or, just stupid because you don't have an opinion about anything? Like, I used to think of that too. It's like, I don't have an opinion about anything. Like, I can't talk about things the way people talk about it. So what if that's not a wrongness? What if that's actually a capacity? How is that a capacity? Well, what if you're aware that what these people are talking about is actually not what they're truly interested in? What if you're aware of the bullshit that this conversation is? How many conversations you've been listening to that are just total bullshit conversations, like your elevator weather conversations, and you're just like, this is boring. Why do people talk about this shit? Yeah. Ellie in the chat room has just said something cool too. Actually, this reality does not get me. Cool. This reality, okay, thank you, Ellie, for saying that. This reality does not get me. Okay, can you check in with that? Use your light and heavy. This reality does me. Ellie, is that light or heavy? So truth, does this reality not get you? Or is it something else? Do you not actually, in fact, get this reality? Because I hear you. Because I look around and I'm like, what? this is what people are interested in. There's so many cool things. I remember learning about physics in high school and was like totally fascinated by physics and like quantum physics and molecules and the interconnection between molecules across galaxies. And I was like, this stuff is fascinating. And my friends were talking about nail polish. Why are we talking about nail polish when there is magic in the world? I was studying biology and I was like, oh my God, like look at the workings of the human body. Like this is crazy ass magical shit. Why do my friends want to talk about makeup? Like this is boring. Yeah, it's light. Okay, cool. It's light because, yeah, this reality doesn't get you. Absolutely. This reality doesn't get you. Is it because you are so expansive and so not in the box of this reality that they can't grab you, right? It's like is it possible that you're so expanded and you're so like out of the box that they don't see you? You're like, this reality doesn't get you. Is it because you're not in their box? Right? How can they, and also, Ellie, big Ellie. So truth, how much judgment is in your world? Do you judge a lot? If you're a person, yes. Do you judge you or do you judge others? I'm going to just wait for her answer in the chat room. So, what is it possible that this world can't grab onto you because you don't have so much judgment? Judgment is thick and heavy, and it's so part of the fabric of this reality, truly, that when you don't have it, it's like people don't know how to grab onto you because it's like there's nothing there. Like, is it possible that you're so much space that people are just like, I don't know, I don't get this girl. And that's awesome that this reality doesn't get you. Really, could that be your greatest, could you use that? How much could you use that to your advantage? If you look at some of the greats, like if you look at Einstein, I mean, did this reality get Einstein? Fuck no. Mozart. I love Mozart. Oh my God. Did this reality get Mozart? No, they thought he was a fool. They thought he was a total idiot. His music was phenomenal. And I think people really I don't know. I don't think he was really recognized for it until after he died, but people thought this guy was a total crazy man. They thought he was literally mentally insane. The guy was brilliant. He was so out of the box of his society and his surroundings that nobody got him. So, yeah, thank you, Keisha, in the chat room. Do we truly desire this reality to get us? So, how exciting is it that this reality doesn't get you? And yeah, I guess you might be like, well, it kind of sucks because I want to be gotten. So I want to be gotten. What the hell is that? I want people to get me. So everywhere you need people to understand you or people to get you, and that your effort to fix yourself or change yourself or make yourself smaller or squeeze yourself into their box so that they get you. Ugh. Can you perceive your bodies, light or heavy? Okay, I feel like I'm being squeezed right now. Like everywhere you are trying so hard for people to get you, and in an effort to do that, you are literally squeezing yourself into a box. And what is that doing to your body? Creating dis-ease in your body. Will you please destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Would you be willing to shine so far outside that box that nobody gets you, and yet they can perceive you? They are still by you. You can still create greater and affect change on the planet. How much more change can you affect on the planet when you are so enormous and so expansive that people can't even see you, but still you can affect change? Look at the sun. Do people get the sun? Do they understand the sun? Can you see the sun? Like, we see it from here, but are we really seeing it? We see such a small portion of what the sun is. right? Like we see it from so far away. We have no idea the enormousness of the sun's potency. Truly, we don't. And yet, look at what it does. It sustains life on this planet. It contributes to greatness. Without it, we would die. So who says people have to get you in order for them to be changed by you, in order for them to be inspired by you? So Ellie, I challenge you, like, would you be willing to not give two fucks about whether or not people get you? And maybe even embrace the fact he gets you and be like, awesome, nobody gets me. I'm going to get even bigger so that people even more don't get me. And I wonder what I could change with that. I wonder what you could change on the planet if you embrace the fact that nobody got you and were excited about it. And you almost laugh at it, be like, I'm this like mysterious secret awesomeness that nobody gets, and look at what I'm doing. Would you like to do that instead of trying to shrink yourself into the box of this reality and keep yourself down and keep yourself small and not create greater in the world, on the planet, in your own life? Would you be willing to not give two fucks about whether people get you or not? Oh my goodness, I love this conversation. I'm having so much fun. So there was something else I really want to say. Oh, we were going to talk about questions before we went to break. So how to create greater, how to come out of fixing and moving into create greater. So the first one is stop judging. Just stop judging. Stop judging you. Stop judging the world. Stop judging others. Who else are you trying to fix in your life? Who? Think about somebody you're trying to fix. What if nothing is wrong with them? There might be something about them that doesn't work for you. That doesn't mean you can't change it. I am not saying that you have to accept everything in your life that you are not enjoying. You can change it without deciding that it's broken and needs to be fixed. So stop judging. Stop judging you. Stop judging the people in your life. Stop judging the planet. Stop judging everything around you. Just stop. Go check out Bob Newhart on YouTube and just stop it already. Okay? Ask some questions. So what questions can you ask that would open up possibilities in your life that would allow you to move into creating greater rather than just fixing? I really get this energy of fixing is like, I just want to fix it so that I can be normal. So like, you think you're so broken and you think you're such an outcast that you would just be happy to be normal. You just happy to be accepted. That's all. I don't need to be great. I just want to be normal. I just want to be accepted. Bullshit. No. You can be great. What in the world are you going to do at normal? How boring is normal? It's boring. How boring is normal? If you're trying to fix, how much more past normal or mediocre or just enough are you going to? And is that really what you would like for your life? Or would you like to create greater? Would you like to have a phenomenal life rather than just kind of be accepted? So everything that does not allow you to move past that middle, that line of normal, just accept it. You're like, okay, I'm accepted now. I'm good. Everything that does not allow you to move past that into fucking greatness, will you please just join and create all that? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and puck, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyond. Awesome. So here's some questions. What's right that I'm not getting? So every time you go into the wrongness of you or the wrongness of someone else or the wrongness of a situation, what's right about me I'm not getting? What's right about this I'm not getting? Takes you out of looking at it as wrong and looking at what is the gift in it. Just ask the question. The purpose of questions with these tools, using the tools of access, when you ask a question, the point of the question is not answer, so do not go into your head. The purpose of asking a question is to gain some awareness around what else is possible. So most of the time, what you need to do is ask the question and then shut up. Just shut up. Shut up your brain. Don't look for an answer. Ask the question. Ask it more than once. Ask it until the energy shifts. And you might be doing dishes and all of a sudden you get how that thing you think is wrong about you is actually maybe right about you. So ask the question. Don't look for the answer. What's right about me I'm not getting? What's right about me I'm not getting? Write it on your wall. Write it on your mirror with your lipstick. What's right about me I'm not getting? And then you can ask some other cool questions like, what is the capacity that I'm not acknowledging that if I acknowledged it would create myself as greater than I could have ever possibly imagined? So we're just coming down to the last 5 minutes of the show. So I invite you to use some of these questions for all those things that you're trying to fix. And if you use these questions, you can shift out of fixing what's wrong with you and into creating yourself as greater. What is the capacity that I'm not acknowledging? If I acknowledged it, would create myself as greater than I have ever imagined or that I could possibly imagine. Just play with that all day and see how expansive your day becomes. What is it that you could create with that thing that you've decided is a wrongness? Could you actually use it to your advantage to create something with it? Could you use it to your advantage to create something with it? I just want to, sorry, I know we are like 4 minutes, but I wanted to use the example of a sports athlete or like maybe a gymnast. You know, what if you didn't, or a ballerina, like what if you didn't have to compete? I was thinking about how we use this language of competing with yourself there. That's where I was going. Have you heard people say, I don't compete with other people, but I compete with myself. I compete with myself to get better every day. So here's another tool. What if instead of competing with yourself, because when I think of those words, it's actually really heavy. What if instead of competing with yourself, you could out-create yourself every day? So, cool. This is what I created today. This is what I created yesterday. How can I out-create that today? It's very different energy than, I did a shitty job yesterday. How can I get better today? So check it out. Check in with your body. That was shitty. That thing I did yesterday sucked. How can I do it better today? Blech. Look at what I created yesterday. Cool. How can I create myself today? How can I out-create myself? How can I create it even greater today? I know, right? It's awesome. So what's right about me I'm not getting? What's the capacity that I haven't acknowledged that if I acknowledged it would create myself as greater than I could possibly imagine? And how can I out-create myself today? Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Fixing You're Fired and creating greater. So fire your judgment, fire your fixing. Thanks for joining me. Please connect with me at a variety of different places. You can find me at petrinafava.com. You can find me at accessconsciousness.com. I am listed. I have a web page there. I also have a Messy Adventures in Living Facebook page that you can check out. And I also have a Petrina Fava public figure Facebook page. See, I told you I have my hands in 5,000 things. If you're interested in some natural body products, please check out naturallyhappybody.com. It's the same site as petrinafava.com, and it's also on Facebook. So I had a lot of fun with this show, and I've actually received a whole bunch of cool awarenesses myself. So thank you again for joining me today and for playing with me in the chat room and in the future. Please tune in next week where we are talking with Daria Hansen about unleashing your femme fatale, how much you out-create yourself by unleashing your femme fatale on the world. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned next week, Monday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Goodbye.
Thanks for playing with us on Messy Adventures in Living. Petrina Fava will return next Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Mountain, and 6 a.m. Pacific on a2zen.fm. We'd love to have you join us again. Until then, have fun creating your phenomenal life, mess and all.